everyone. Welcome to our video 3 of the Managing Subscription Products in Salesforce CPQ series from Demandblue. My name is Parul Nagpal, and I'm a Director of Customer Success with Demandblue. I work directly with our clients on strategizing and implementing various Salesforce CPQ, Sales Cloud, and Experience Cloud solutions. In our last video, we covered CPQ subscription setup. If you've missed our first 2 videos, be sure to check out the playlist in the description below. I'll be talking about multidimensional products and code line groups in Salesforce CPQ today. We'll begin with definition, followed by talking about pricing dimensions, standard versus segmented products. Then we'll talk about code line groups. Since everyone is going to outer space these days, we created a fictional, out-of-this-world movie streaming service called Spaceflix. And you'll see some of my examples in the later part of this video on how to set up an MDQ code for Spaceflix. At the end, I will cover some facts related to Salesforce MDQ products. All right, let's get started. Let's define MDQ. You can show a fixed price subscription product in the code line editor as one code line broken into multiple segments. Each segment represents a unit of time. It could be a month, a quarter, a year, or it could even be custom. We call these products multi-dimensional coding products. Each segment has its own start and end date. It can be discounted or marked up independently. It has its own pricing and a quantity independent of the line's other segments. They're useful if you want your sales reps to have detailed control over pricing specific units of time within one subscription. All you have to do is add a price dimension for a product. They let you control if cost, quantity, or discount is editable by the sales reps or they're inherited from the parent product. Segmented versus standard products. The code lines for MDQ products appear by default in the segment products table in a multidimensional or matrix format on the code line editor, whereas the other subscription products appear in the standard products section. You can toggle between the 2 sections to see the different types of products. At the end, each segment is represented by its own code line. So if you have an MDQ product with 4 segments, one for each year, and a standard subscription product, you'll end up with 5 code lines on the code. MDQ products can be represented in the same multidimensional matrix format on the code line templates in Salesforce. Let's talk about code line groups. Code line groups is another CPQ option that can be used to group code lines together on a code. So for example, if you wanted to group code lines by location, or even add a common discount to the entire set of code lines for that group, you can do so by enabling code line groups. So essentially, they're the parent of code lines. Code line groups can group both standard and MDQ products. Okay, let's see some MDQ in action now. What we've done is we've gotten a little creative and we're going to offer our customers taking a trip to Mars our Spaceflix entertainment package, which has 2 flavors. One is our Spaceflix Journey product, which we've priced for multiple quarters as each segment, and we show the pricing for over 3 quarters for a Mars traveler. In our second example, you see me showcasing custom segments for our product, Spaceflix Journey Plus. What you see here is the related list called price dimensions for our product, Spaceflix Journey. I have set up a one-time setup fee called Trip Setup. I have given the dimension name, the type, added a price book. The quantity is editable and the default quantity is 1. I've also added a recurring segment called Quarterly Space Travel Subscription as the dimension. As you can see, we have the various types of dimension on the screen. You've got a year, quarter, month, one time, and custom. For this product, I have chosen quarter, which means when I add this product to a code, it will divide the start and end date of the code into quarters, and will automatically show the pricing for the different quarters as the segment. Now this is the code for MDQ. You can see I have the code line group on which you see the start date and the subscription term is 9 months. You can also add an additional discount to the entire set of code lines. I have chosen SpaceFlix Journey as our product. Depending on the number of connections, you can manipulate the quantities. You can give additional discount for each segment. We had an original $500 list unit price for the trip setup. I have given a 5% discount, which means the total now comes to $475. For each of the quarters after this, you can see that the subscription fee was $20, but I've given different discounts on each segment. I've given a 5% discount in quarter 1, I've given a 7% in quarter 2, and a 10% in quarter 3. So the final subscription pricing for each quarter is $19, $18.6, and $18 respectively. And you can see that the quote line actually add up to $530.6. For my second example, I have chosen SpaceFlix Journey Plus. This has custom segments for light speed space travel and the setup fee for trip setup. When you add this product to the quote, it lets you add the dates for the custom segment, also add more segments. Please note that these segments do not have to be consecutive. Once you adjust the segments, you can see them in the MDQ format on the code, and it'll also play with the discounts and rebates for other pricing as required. All right, let's end this with an MDQ fact check. The quote start and end date automatically become the first segment start date and last segment end date. The first segment end date needs to be defined in order to break the segments appropriately. You can only define monthly subscription items as multidimensional. You can tweak the CPQ settings for pricing and calculation in case you need to configure non-consecutive segments. Usage-based pricing is not supported by MDQ products. An MDQ product cannot be the bundle itself, which means you cannot have product options associated with them. However, an MDQ product can be part of the bundle, even though the quantity of the MDQ segments is independent of the parent bundle's quantity. For multi-currency orgs, you need to have separate pricing dimensions for each currency defined. That brings us to the end of today's session. We'll talk about proration in our next video. Thank you.